You ever deal with someone who turns every conversation into a battlefield, but somehow you're the one walking away exhausted? Yeah, that person. The one who twists your words, flips reality, makes you question your own sanity like you just stepped into some psychological horror movie. You try to explain. You try to be calm. You try to fix it. And somehow you lose anyway. Listen to me carefully. You're not losing because you're weak. You're losing because you're playing the wrong game. A narcissist doesn't argue to understand. They argue to win control. That's it. To them, a conversation isn't a conversation. It's a cage match. And every time you show up with logic, they show up with gasoline and a lighter. So, what happens? You bring facts. They bring chaos. You try to build something, they just burn it down. And now you're stuck thinking, how do I beat someone like this? You don't. You outsmart them. Here's the first thing you need to understand. A narcissist feeds on reaction. Not logic, not truth. Reaction. Your frustration, food. Your anger, dessert. Your need to be understood, that's the full course meal. Every time you try to prove them wrong, you're basically pouring energy straight into their veins, and they get stronger. Here's where most people mess this up. They think staying calm means explaining better. It doesn't. Arguing with a narcissist is like trying to win a chess game against someone who flips the board the moment they start losing. So step 1, starve them. I'm not saying go silent like a ghost. No, that's too obvious. I'm saying respond without giving them anything to grab onto. They throw a jab, you don't swing back, you don't defend, you don't explain your entire life story. You just go, interesting. Or even better, yeah, I can see that. That's it. Watch what happens. It's like pulling the batteries out of a toy mid-scream. They glitch because you just removed the one thing they were counting on, your reaction. And this is the part nobody tells you. The moment you stop reacting, they don't feel powerful anymore. They feel invisible. Now step 2, and this is where it gets fun. Agree, but don't submit. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Why would I agree with someone who's clearly wrong? Because you're not trying to be right anymore. You're trying to take control. Big difference. Let's say they hit you with, you never do anything right. Old you? You jump in, defend yourself, list everything you've done, and now you're trapped in a 20-minute argument that goes nowhere. New you? You look them dead in the eye and say, you might be right. Or even cleaner, yeah, I get why you'd think that. Pause. Let that land. You just did something dangerous. You didn't fight, but you didn't submit either. You stepped outside the script. Now their brain is scrambling like a broken GPS because they were ready for resistance and you gave them fog. From there, you redirect, not aggressively, not emotionally, calm, controlled. So, what do you think would actually fix that? Now you flip the frame. They went from attacker to someone who has to think. And most of the time, they don't have anything real to say because it was never about the issue. It was about control. I've seen this happen in real life. Someone walks in heated, ready to argue, loaded with lines they practiced in their head. And the second they don't get resistance, their whole energy collapses. It's like watching a storm hit a wall and just die. Quick pause. If you're the kind of person who likes understanding these hidden dynamics, who doesn't just react, but actually sees the game behind the game, hit like. Not for me, but so this kind of thinking reaches more people who are tired of getting played. Now, step 3. This is the one most people never figure out. Stop trying to be seen by them. Let me say that again. Stop trying to be seen. Because that's the trap. You keep explaining yourself, hoping that this time they'll finally get it. They won't. Not because they can't, but because they don't want to. Understanding you doesn't serve them. Controlling you does. So every time you open your heart, every time you over-explain, every time you say, let me just clarify one more thing, you're handing them the blueprint to manipulate you better. It's like giving a pickpocket a map of your pockets. So what do you do instead? You shrink your explanations. You simplify your words. You become harder to read. Not cold, just unavailable for manipulation. They ask for a reaction, they get neutrality. They push for emotion, they get calm. They try to drag you into chaos. You stand there like a wall they can't climb. And walls don't argue. Walls don't explain. Walls just stand. But be careful. If you slip, even a little, if you give them one emotional reaction, they'll double down harder than before because they'll know you're still reachable. Now, step 4, the knockout move. Control your exits. Most people don't realize this, but the person who controls when the interaction ends controls the entire dynamic. A narcissist wants to drag things out, loop the conversation, repeat the same point 10 different ways, wear you down until you either explode or give in. That's their win condition. So you cut it off. Clean, calm, final. All right, I hear you. And then you leave. No dramatic exit, no slamming doors. Just gone. You just denied them the fight. You denied them the energy. You denied them the stage. And that drives them insane because now they don't feel powerful. They feel ignored. And for someone who feeds on attention, that's suffocating. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Beating a narcissist isn't about dominating them. It's about becoming untouchable, emotionally, mentally. You stop playing their game, and suddenly they have no game to play. They poke, nothing happens. They provoke, nothing happens. Eventually, they move on. Not because they changed, but because you did. Listen, you don't need to win every argument. You don't need the last word, and you definitely don't need to prove your worth to someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. Real power? It's quiet. It's controlled. It's knowing you could engage, but choosing not to, because you see the trap before you step into it. You don't beat them. You become someone they can't reach anymore. If this shifted something in your head, if you just realized why certain people drain the life out of you, then subscribe, because this is just one piece of a much bigger game most people don't even know they're playing. Now I want to hear from you. What's the one sentence someone said to you that almost pulled you into the fight? Drop it below.